Hi everyone. Today I'm going to talk about using fantasy in your sex play. I'm Bournes from Erosha.com. So, why do we want to use fantasy? There's a lot of good reasons that we want to use fantasy when we're having a sexual play with a partner. I think one of the biggest ones is it just helps us to get our own energy going. Sometimes you're in a long-term relationship with somebody and maybe you don't have that same charge you did when you first started going out with them, or I don't know, you're just having challenges connecting to your own pleasure, and it seems like a lot to try and do that through the other person. So allowing yourself to have your fantasy, allowing yourself to go inside, is a great way to kind of boost the energy, which you can then share with your partner. So one thing you got to be sensitive about is that your partner might not be completely in agreement with you kind of taking off into your own headspace and leaving them. So it's good to kind of have an agreement before you go into the fantasy. Say to your partner, for example, hey, listen, I just want to try something a little bit different today. I'm going to close my eyes and go into my fantasy, and then I want you to keep touching me. I want to stay connected to you through touch, but I need you just to kind of be with me. And I think, for me, when I'm playing with someone who's able to go into their fantasy, it can be really hot. I mean, I just kind of imagine what they're thinking, or I watch them get into their pleasure, and I might be stroking them and touching them at the same time, it's just really hot. And it can be fun when they come back out of it, and then fun things can happen. Like you can get like drawn into the fantasy, like maybe they share a little bit about what's going on, and then you can add a little bit of like dirty talk to it, or kind of embody some of the element of the fantasy that they're in. That can be a really fun, edgy way to connect, kind of take a little bit of risk too, and being a bit vulnerable with your partner, letting them share their fantasy, or you sharing your fantasy with them. So yeah, what are some other things that are good about fantasy? Savannah, you got any ideas?
Let's see. Just like brings more wholeness to your sexual experience because your body's there, your mind's there,
Right.
It's all on board.
Yeah, I think sometimes we're asking too much of our partner sometimes, or we're asking too much of the connection with our partner, and we're neglecting that part of ourselves, which allows ourselves to turn ourselves on.
Ooh, it can also be another way to explore different aspects of our personality. Like if in our life we have to be very, we're a boss, we have to be quite dominant, directing, then we can explore submissive or other parts of ourselves that have a lot of aliveness and juice.
Yeah, there can be a lot of charge in exploring stuff which is kind of taboo in day-to-day as well, that's not allowed in real life. To actually embody that in your fantasy, that can bring a lot of charge and energy. So I encourage you today, standing here on the Lovers Trail in Stanley Park, to bring some fantasy into your sex life, and that might be a little bit of a challenge for you. You might have to kind of think about what turns you on a little bit more. You might have to explore through erotica, or some sort of visual stimulus, what actually is like, oh, what turns me on. So I invite you to do that work and have fun with it, and bring more fantasy into your life and into your sex life. I'm Kai from Erosha.com. Thanks for listening.